Hey everyone. Hey. Let me know if you can hear me as you come in. Sometimes I have difficulties with the audio. But yeah, so today we are going to be talking about the reason why men approach women and the nature of the approach. What's inspiring this video is a recent online interaction with a young man who slid into my DMs, expressing interest. And he's saying, oh, wow, you're beautiful. I'd like to get to know you, this, that, and the third. And he starts asking me, what I like in a man, what I find attractive. And I tell him, I am pretty traditional with my attraction. I typically like the provider protector type. This is what I told him, right? And then he gets into this whole long message about how, if a man is going to be providing and protecting for a woman, the woman has to be cooking and clean. Actually, you know what? Let me just look up, because this was ridiculous, actually. Let me read it to you because it was insane. Okay. There will be an expectation. The expectation is that their woman is an A+ housewife, meaning cooking, cleaning, watching over the kids, as well as extended family. What? Then for me personally, I'd like a woman who can flip the money that I'm bringing home to investing in real estate or growing our own business. Now, how do you feel about that? And then he says, also a wife like that would need to be in tune with the vibe and status of the family and support the man's purpose and the longevity of the family, which comes with its own set of sacrifices and ego control. And these are all really good points, but here's the thing. I didn't understand the whole extended family part. Like, why would I be watching other people's kids if I was, if I were to be someone's housewife? That don't make no sense. But the thing of it, my response to it is, like later on, he's like, well, if someone isn't interested in being an A+ housewife, then what would make a man pick a woman not, putting out this much labor versus a woman that's putting up all this labor, like cooking, cleaning, watching over their kids, extended family, investing at home as well, right? And I think it's really interesting. So it's like the man's job is to bring home money. He has one job, but then he expects the woman to take on the job of a maid, take on the job of a chef, take on the job of a nanny, take on the job of a sex worker, take on the job of a chauffeur, take on the job as a babysitter for other people's kids. Like, it's kind of like, okay, why is it that in order for men to rationalize doing this one job, why is it that they want women to do all of these other jobs, right? Way more labor than the man, okay? But my final response to him, when he asked me, he said, my question though is, assuming all else in the relationship is equal outside of the present, what should make a man choose a specific woman versus someone else or staying single, right? And I said, you tell me. I said, men usually approach and pursue women, and you approached me. How can you approach a woman and then turn and ask her what's her contribution, right? Because it doesn't make sense. Imagine you go up to someone, right? You're approaching someone, you're interested in someone. You are approaching someone to ask for that person to give up their precious time, for them to talk to you, for them to, disclose information about themselves to you. You are asking for this, and then, you're going to ask them what's your contribution. It's like, no, wait. You approached me. If you approach someone asking for their time, asking for their attention, and if you're asking for someone's time, they can never get that time back. Why aren't you focusing on your contribution for that person to have an incentive to actually give what you're asking? It's just like really backwards. I've noticed like a lot of men really think that they are the prize, but in reality, that's not the case. In reality, one of the highest causes of death for women are men. Like, the highest cause of death for women is interacting with men. Men abuse women at high rates, domestic violence. There's plenty of domestic violence, there's plenty of rape, there's plenty of assault. So it's kind of like, it doesn't work that way. In order to get a high caliber woman, you would have to be contributing more in first, because she can do battle by herself. She doesn't have to take the risk at all to deal with you. And dealing with men is a risk. So I say this, and I have this little post up because I want to really kind of unpack this dynamic and these crazy expectations these men have of women that they approach. Could you imagine approaching someone, asking that person for their time that they'll never get back, and then have the nerve to be like, I'm approaching you and I'm asking something from you, but how are you going to make my life better? Like, that doesn't work. Like, you are the one that approached them. You should be asking how to make their life better, because you want them to take time out of their precious life, out of their precious time, to interact with and have some type of exchange with you. So you should be the one offering initially, right? Let me know if you guys can hear. It would be a shame if I'm sitting here blabbing on and no one can hear me. But anyway, I want to share with you this post I found online, okay? And it's from, I guess it's like a quote from Steve Harvey. And Steve Harvey says, "We men are very simple people. If we like what we see, we're coming over there. If we don't want anything from you, we're not coming over there. Period. Please highlight this part right here so you can always remind yourself. The next time a man steps to you, a man always wants something. Always. And when it comes to women, that plan is always to find out two things. Number one, if you're willing to sleep with him. And number two, if you are, how much it will cost to get you to sleep with him." Okay? So this is the thing. Like, if a man approaches you, this is why the name of the video is, when a man approaches you, hey, B Porter girl, how are you? Hey, girl. So this is why the title of the video is, men should approach you with something to offer. Because initially, men approach women because they want something from women. And usually they want access to the female body, to your female body. So if a man is approaching you wanting access to your female body, they should be offering something of value. Because what they're really doing is asking you to risk your life to interact with them and potentially risk your life to sleep with them. And mind you, I say this in a lot of my videos. I'm going to keep saying it over and over and over and over and over again until people start to understand this. When women sleep with men, women take on the lion's share of risk, and women basically risk their lives. Women become pregnant by men that they sleep with, right? And even if they use birth control has a host of complications and health defects that it imposes on the woman who takes it, right? So you're going to take a risk. Either way, if you don't take birth control, if you do take birth control, you're taking a risk to sleep with a man. And the reason why I say women risk their lives to sleep with men is because, on a very basic level, a lot of women still die during childbirth. Like, that has not gone away, right? That's not a problem that's been globally solved, okay? A lot of women destroy their bodies having children. Like, I've heard of things where women get ripped from their vulva to their anus. Like, it's horrible. So you're risking your body, you're risking your life to have sex with a man because you're risking getting pregnant. Okay. And aside from those risks, there's always the social stigma attached to a woman's sexual choices. Like, there's always social stigma attached to a woman's sexual choices. So a woman could face social stigma in the form of, being gossiped about, being ostracized from friends and family based off of her sexual choices. Women can face losing opportunities because people see her as a certain type of way, maybe a loose woman, maybe a woman that isn't chaste or whatever, right? Okay, so then there's that. And even in some other cultures, women risk their lives having sex with men, and women risk that social stigma, and that social stigma can lead to death. I mean, we can think about honor killings, right? Honor killings. I lived in a country where honor killings were very common. I lived in Jordan for 2 years. And I know it's not just in Jordan, it's in a bunch of other countries. Honor killings haven't gone away. Even if a woman gets raped, a woman can risk losing her life by her brother, her father, her male cousin, because it is seen as shame being brought upon the family that a woman made a sexual decision or was forced to have a sexual encounter. Okay? So this is why I want every woman to understand, like, the risk you are taking to interact with men as a whole, the risk you are taking to have a sexual encounter with a man as a whole. You're taking on a lot of risk. And because men approach women in order to get access to a woman's body and to have sex, like, that is the only reason why they approach women, right? Because of that, these men have to be offering something for you to take that risk. Why take on all of that risk if there is no type of reward, if there is no type of upside? Why do it? Why? It makes no sense, okay? So this is what I pulled from this little post, this quote that I saw from Steve Harvey. And just always make sure these men are offering something from you, because definitely they want to take something from you. And in order for them to take something from you, you need to make sure you're getting, listen, men are just like, oh, why don't you just want to spend time? Why don't you just want to spend time? Like, I'll tell you why I don't want to spend time with you. Because if I spend time with you, the only thing you're going to be doing is attempting to get sex out of me and attempting to get me to risk my life to give you some type of sexual pleasure. I'm not going to take that risk unless there is an upside, unless you're taking me to nice places, unless you're, providing me some amazing experiences, unless I'm getting some type of gifts. I'm not doing this for no reason. Okay. And a lot of women are just giving their time that they'll never give back to these men who are only there to take something from you. So if a man approaches you, you have to make sure they're offering. And if they're not offering, ask. That puts pressure on the man. If he doesn't want to provide it for you, he will leave you alone. He will leave you alone. Okay? So that's my little spiel. I'm done. This is going to be a short video. But I wanted to come on and have this conversation because I'm a grad student, and today we had some readings on feminist theory related to Marxism, and I started thinking, like, this is really interesting to kind of see these two theory structures like intertwined and thought about hand in hand. And if you really think about it, my contribution to the discussion was that, a female's sexual encounter with a man, we can even argue a female's simple interaction with a man is a form of labor in and of itself, right? Because women take on all of the risk when interacting with a man, because men threaten the lives of women every single day in so many different ways. They threaten the security and safety of women every single day in so many different ways. Because men are trying to get access to female bodies every single day in so many different ways. Because they're trying to get sex from women. Because when women have sex with men, they take on all this risk. It is labor. You should be compensated and rewarded for that labor, for putting yourself at risk, right? You don't see people taking these high risks without some type of reward. Risk and reward go together. If you're taking on all of the risk and there is no reward, you are doing something very, very wrong. Okay. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to comment. Make sure you subscribe and share this content. Okay. All right. I'll see you lovely people later. Bye.